Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you really quickly how to open and cut out a portion of an image. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a picture, and I'm just going to click on this open button, or I can go to file and open to do that. And I'm going to look for an image, and so let's see, I've got this image right here. It's of a Jeep. It's got one specific subject that I'm going to remove from this, and I'm going to actually put that into a different file. So I'll do that, hit open, there we go. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. There's different selection tools like the lasso tool, the magnetic lasso tool. I remember, about a decade ago, this was revolutionary because you don't have to have a very steady hand in order to do it. It will go all the way around. You can see it's not perfect. It's looking for contrast, and so there's certain spots where, especially down here, the shadow is more contrast than the actual vehicle. And then the last thing is I have a circle right there, so I got my dancing ants. I'm actually going to unselect that and show you a new one. And so I've got a fairly new version. So in this case, the version is 21.3, and so it was from 2020, and so fairly new. If you have something that is slightly older, I don't think this tool is there, but we have an object selection tool which seems to be pretty magical. And so all I'm going to do is click and drag a box around the object, and there's going to be some kind of AI working to figure out where the edges of that object is, looking at the focus, looking at that contrast between colors and things like that. It does take a little bit, and it's not perfect. I can see an area right here where it did not work, and up here on the roof it didn't work either, but that's okay. However you do start that selection, you can actually refine it. And I'm going to use something called the Quick Mask tool. So I click on Quick Mask. There's red where I am not selecting things, and then it's clear where I am. Once I've done that, I can go over to my brush tool. Up here at the top is my brush size. So that's a pretty good size for what I'm going to be doing for right now. If I'm filling in large spots, I will make it a little bit bigger. If I'm going into those fine details, I'll go a little bit smaller. I do want a crisp edge, so I'm going to bring the hardness all the way up. And it's also helpful, very often, to hit Control plus and zoom in. So I'm going to then take a look at my swatch here. I can flip it back and forth. If the white foreground, that means I am painting on the selection, like so. And I'm trying to have a steady hand, but sometimes you can make a mistake, and that's okay, because then I can switch, little arrows there, and I can actually change that selection. So let's see, I don't want the extra ground parts right here, and so I go like that. Keyboard shortcut X actually flips them really quickly, and so what I can do is click and drag. Actually, I don't even want this whole block right here, so I'm going to just get rid of that. Fine tune, like so. Sometimes you just kind of go with a large area, and then you kind of paint back on. So you're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It may take you a while, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be done instantly. And even though this isn't correct, I'm not going to bore you with all of the fine detail that I could do this. So I'm going to get it fairly good, but it's not going to be perfect. You will fine tune yours much better. So once you've got a selection that you are happy with, the other great thing about this is you can actually select what I call islands, and so you may have two different portions of the image that you want to kind of treat together. You can do it this way. In this case, I don't want all these extra things, so I'm going to just leave them where they are. And then I'm going to exit Quick Mask. And so I've got my dancing ants, and at least in theory, they are in the right spot. You will make yours better, refine yours, spend a little bit more time refining yours. Then, now that I have the selection, I'm going to go to Layer, New, Layer via Copy. And if I go over to my Layers panel, that is F7 is the keyboard shortcut for that. I can see that I have all of those pixels that I selected there as part of its own layer, all by its lonesome. Now, the next thing you're going to do for this project is you're going to open up a different image. So I'm going to actually open this one. I've actually started doing some of the collaging here. I've decided that I'm going to make a version of not Stonehenge. I'm going to make Carhenge. And so I've got this image right here. You can bring these tabs into their own kind of windows and change the size of them. I'm going to just grab that real quick. And then what you can do is actually take that move tool, and you should be able to click and drag that over. Once you have the other one selected, you might even push that up and throw those back onto the tabs, and then resize as you want. So it'll stay proportional unless you hold shift. So I've got my little Toyota Land Rover here that I'll throw somewhere in here. But that's how you bring a couple different images in to your to one file. So you open it, you select it in one of these methods. You can also then refine it with the Quick Mask tool, and then use your paintbrush tool to kind of paint on and paint off that selection. Then you go to Layer, New, Layer via Copy, Control J, and it will select and copy all of those pixels that you have selected after you exit, of course, Quick Mask. So you go in, you fix it, you go out, and then you make that copy. Then just click and drag that layer over. You can click and drag the layer from the Layers panel if you like. You can refine the size and all of this, and then hit the check mark OK. Another little trick for this project is sometimes you're going to want to have things kind of hidden. So let's say I didn't do super great, and I didn't do super great on the bottom part of this image here. That's okay. Maybe I have that kind of hiding up here. I can kind of hide some of my mistakes. What I did was I made a layer of certain parts of the background and then left it exactly where it was. You can actually tell that it's there, but I can hide some things underneath it. So that's a little trick. It also allows me, if I want to move it up or down, I don't have to worry about where I've deleted things already. So there you go. Good luck. Put some images and all of that together, and I'm excited to see what you create.